Hi, this is Gerald Salenti. It's Wednesday, May 24th, 2017. And here are some of today's trends in the news. Over there on the market front. In Asia, everything's up, even Shanghai, as Moody's lowered China's credit rating. Shanghai market went up on that good news, and it's been going down for about most of the year. Other things that are down are DAX and CAC. Over here in the United States, it's up. Both NASDAQ and Dow. Oil, down a little bit. And gold up a little bit. So what happened? S&P 500 posts record close as Wall Street cheers Fed's gradual plan to trim its balance sheet. Wonderful news. And now, of course, the expectations to raise interest rates next month are 83%. So let's look at the markets. What's driving them? Certainly not the Trump plan, but not getting great reviews, but getting reviews somewhat. Financial Times, U.S. budget comes under attack for questionable growth assumptions. Within hours of its release, the blueprint, which proposes swinging cuts of $3.6 trillion, came under attack for basing its outlook on questionable growth assumptions and dubious accounting. There's always dubious accounting. So, what's driving the markets up? Again, earnings are good. The data's coming in is mixed. For example, today, total mortgage application volume increased 4.4%. That's pretty good. But existing home sales slipped 2.3%. Again, it's a mix of data, which is better than down data. So here we are now going into June, and the Trump rally continues with the S&P 500 posting record close. So the pollsters, the prostitutes, and the pundits have all been wrong about the Trump rally. And we've said from the very beginning that it was real. You have the facts and trends in the news almost immediately after he got elected, within days. We're also looking for a correction. It's going to come when? Who knows? Because when you look at the overall growth picture, it's better than worse. So better is better than worse. Europe still runs with bulls. Germany's widely followed IFO Business Climate Index rose to 114.6 in May, the highest figure since 1991. The Flash IHS Market Composite Purchasing Managers Index for France and Germany also rose. So we have positive news rather than a basket of negative news. And gold went up a little bit today on the news of what's going over there in China. Again, they're carrying about $30 trillion worth of debt, a debt to GDP ratio of 260%. But people don't expect it to go down because China's going to do everything to keep it up. And when we look again at that Fed data, they're going to raise rates. So even where gold is now, we see it at a tenuous point. It can't break above that $1,300 an ounce mark. It's hovering in the middle of the 12s. And it could go again $100 lower. Has to break above $1,400 to really gain strength. And as for oil, it's going to be a surprise again today. U.S. crude settles down as investors reacted to smaller than expected U.S. gasoline stock draws. And of course, they're meeting over there to decide whether OPEC and non-OPEC members are going to continue to cut back about 1.8 million barrels a day. And the odds are, of course, as we've been saying for months, they're going to do it. So, let's look at the bigger picture. India eyes U.S. crude as OPEC alternative. India said oil output cuts by OPEC producers could prove a threat to its energy security. In other words, they don't want prices to go higher. So what are they going to do now? They're going to start buying rather from OPEC and Russia and Iran. They're going to start buying from US and Canada. Very interesting how this game is changing. The oil people want to keep the prices up. The producers and the buyers of oil, not the producers of products and the buyers of oil, want to keep the price down. And talking about India, India takes on challenge of port expansion. Yep, they're investing $124 billion in spending. It's over a long period of time, but they're growing. India is a growing market, and you're going to start seeing more and more friction between India and China as each one of them tries to gain more market share. And a new study just came out today. China's population overestimated, the study says. China's population at the end of last year was 1.29 billion, not the 1.35 billion that they're saying. And India's population is officially estimated at 1.33 billion. So all this technological changes going on, a rebalancing of the world, you're going to see more and more action over there rather than over here. China weighs on Samsung's phone sales. Another story how China's market is grabbing more and more market share from the United States, from South Korea, and its phones, although Samsung is having problems with their phone when they brought it out, it's bigger than that. Chinese players have right now a 24% of the overall smartphone market in the first quarter. Remember, they're getting in the airline business, building them, smartphones, higher technology. And then you're going to start seeing India doing more of the same. The balance of power on the money side is shifting dramatically. Yeah, stocks plummet on sales weakness. This is in the United States. AutoZone posted its worst stock performance in nearly a decade. The auto parts retailer booked a retreat in same-store sales and misses on earnings and revenue. Once upon a time, when I was a young man, auto parts stores were owned by the little people. They were never friendly places to go into, by the way, like hardware stores. They always treated you stupid, like because you didn't know a lot about, about how the carburetor goes into the accelerator, blah, 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 beep. So they always made you feel dumb. So they didn't build a great personal contact with the people. Same thing with hardware stores and stationery stores. So on a bigger picture, now all of those have been taken over by a handful. Their costs of running these operations are very expensive. They have to keep profits going up to make it happen with all these mergers and acquisitions that built these big companies. Now people go online. I need windshield wipers. I don't have to go to AutoZone. I need whatever I need. I could get a lot of it online. So you're going to start seeing more and more of a continual downdraft in the stationery, in the auto parts, in other sectors of retail, hardware included. Teens miss out on summer jobs. Some got them, some don't, and more don't this summer. And that's what they're talking about with all of these retail cuts happening. Young kids can't get jobs, summer jobs. So they have the line down here. This is in the Wall Street Journal. For teenage job seekers, that means getting more creative with the job search or staying out of the labor market entirely. What more creative? What are you going to do? You're a kid. I was a soda jerk. Yeah, that was a great job. I love that one, man. I worked in York's stationery store in Yonkers longer than any other soda jerk. I was there the longest amount of time. All the kids used to come after school. Oh, it was great. I met my first honey there. Mwah. Well, not my first, but my first real one. I fell in love with Teresa McKelvey in religious instructions when I was going to my first communion. Had that picture of me and her in the Zizi book. Here, take a look at it. You know, in the Catholic Church, they say that you each reach the age of reason at 7 years old. That's when you receive your first communion. I reached the age of reason. I fell in love with Teresa McKelvey. We used to kiss in religious instructions in the basement of Christ the King Church. Now they'd have me locked up. Yeah, they call me a sex offender and have me whacked out on drugs. Anyway, going back to teens, some have got jobs and some don't. You look at where the styles are going, also in the same trend. And this is, by the way, a trends outlook on life as we forecast trends. In the Wall Street Journal, the same day, Life and Arts, a whole new level of distressed. Of course, they spell whole, H-O-L-E. And they're showing the distressed clothes. Yes, distressed. Just like the nation, just like these kids that can't get jobs, just like the facts that millennials are earning 20% less than the baby boom generation in the same age periods. Yes, distressed. It's showing in the fashion, you hear it in the music, and you see it on the streets. It's distressed, as I say. They say pigs can't fly. Been to the airport lately? They're all over the place. Distressed. Welcome to America. And then, of course, the terrible bombing over there in the UK. UK raises terror warning. They're looking for not only an attack, it remains highly likely, but in the future, attack may be imminent, according to Prime Minister Theresa May. And they're replacing the police with military personnel. Hey, take a look at this picture here in New York. Yep, replacing the military, the police have become military as well. And then what are they going to do? Bombing shows the challenge of securing events. Yeah, no kidding. What, are you going to put a cop everywhere? But get ready to unpack for airport security. Changes are coming to airport security checkpoints. TSA wants you to declutter your bags. So let's get this straight. All of this noise about how they're going to protect us, crazy people and terrorists, people that want to seek revenge for the United States, France, Saudi Arabia, and other countries destroying their lives, you're not going to stop them. How about, rather than bombing shows the challenge of securing events, how about the challenge of extending peace? Could anybody get this in their head? They're not going to be able to stop terror strikes. Not with more police. Look at this scene again in New York. If you're going to bomb somewhere, you're going to go where all these cops are, with all these motorcycles lined up. You're going to go where all these guys got all these weapons. You're going to blow it up over there. It's a failure. Just like the military is a failure. But keep robbing us of our rights, keep killing more people, and they'll protect us. And speaking of killing more people, Bahrain forces clashed with protesters. Yep. Bahrain forces clashed with Shia Muslim protesters. By the way, in Bahrain, they're more Shia than Sunni, being run by Sunni. There's been a long problem going on over there. They just murdered people. They're picking up more strength to do it because of Trump, what he said at the meeting with Saudi Arabia supporting the Arab League. And by the way, the United States Fifth Fleet is there. Another monarchy, another democracy where they never saw a ballot box. Yep, another one of our allies, just as the United States now is going in there to Yemen. We reported that a couple of days ago. Here we go. In the toilet paper record, SEALs kill 7 militants in Yemen raid. Oh, they were militants. They had M written all over them. No, not quite. According to Reprieve, the London-based human rights organization, It was 5 civilians were killed, including a 70-year-old, partly blind man who was shot when he tried to greet the Navy SEALs, and the Navy SEALs themselves were wounded. Isn't that great? Yeah, Trump is going to get rid of them ISISes. Yeah. When are we going to have some level of sanity, or are we going to continue to travel on the path of destruction? Again, either occupy peace or occupy more madness and war. It's spreading, it's growing, and who knows when it will come to a country near you. This is Gerald Celente, and that's some of today's trends in the news.